Hey guys, check this out. We are here with the Isuzu D-Max, and this one's kind of exciting because they've finally facelifted this thing. And I'm a bit of a sucker for Ute reviews. I love to do them, especially because the space is changing so quickly. I've now reviewed every single Ute on the market. I feel like I know Utes like the back of my hand. And that means I've sat in new competition like the GWM Cannon Alpha that's priced very similar to this, but comes extremely kitted out. I was just in Korea and did a full walk around of the Kia Tasman mock-up. Soon BYD will be releasing their plug-in hybrid Shark Ute, and make sure you subscribe because I will be going to that launch very soon. And so to be here with one of the traditional manufacturers, Isuzu, known for their reliability, but also known for their slow pace of development, well, it's a really interesting space to be in. And so Isuzu have done something they don't often do, which is update pretty majorly the Isuzu D-Max. They've added a bunch of new things. They say they've listened to customer feedback, and that's why they have updated this. And so I'm going to take you for a full review of this updated Isuzu D-Max. Is it still a hot competitor, one of the top 3 in Australia? Should you spend your money on it? Well, we're going to go through all of the changes on the exterior. We're going to check out all the changes on the interior, talk about practicality and tub, of course. We are then going to launch this thing, see just how fast it is from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. I'll be honest, it surprised me. Then we're going to give this thing lots of sauce and talk about some of the good things about it, but also some of the bad things. And finally, I'm going to end on my final thoughts. Should you buy the facelifted Isuzu D-Max? Let's get into it. Now, before we talk about what's changed on the outside, let's talk about pricing. It's an interesting story. So this one here has gone up by $3,000 for the X-Terrain. That brings it to just under 70 grand before on-road costs. However, Isuzu have been doing this for quite a while now, where they've been offering this one, specifically the X-Terrain, for $67,990 drive away, which actually makes it significantly cheaper than the model below by like 6 grand. Interesting. I don't really understand the tactic there, but it actually makes this a bit of a bargain. It comes really well equipped when you drive away for 68 grand. But let's talk about what's changed with the way that this thing looks. Love these new headlights here. I think they look really cool. Cool daytime running lights. Also now your turn signal indicator. Very bright LEDs there. LED fog light there too. And a fully revised bumper to the point where you now get extra aero on the side, apparently more aerodynamic. The whole grille as well has been redesigned. Don't know if it necessarily needed it. I actually really like the look of the previous D-Max, but I suppose you always have to change something if you're facelifting a car, so they've done that. Isuzu badge there as well. And it's quite an aggressive, mean-looking Ute. I quite like it. Let me know in the comment section what you think of the front of this thing. Did they do enough or too much, or what do you think? Let's check out the side. Okay, so coming to the side, you're going to see these new 18-inch alloy wheels. Some say that 17 inches better for off-roading. Some say 18-inch. Really, up to you. But they are wrapped in some pretty good Bridgestone Jeweler highway terrain tires. So not the best for going off-road, obviously. You'd want some all-terrains at least, but they do the job okay straight from the factory. You got these pretty cool looking fenders, actually. I quite like it. You've also got your mirror cap here. No 360 camera, which is a bit of a shame, especially when this is the top spec. Doesn't get better than this. Here you have some metal side steps. That's actually really good to see. You've of course got keyless entry and go. You have no tinted privacy glass, which again is a bit of a shame, especially at this price point. You do get some roof rails up here though. You've also got a redesigned sailplane back here, also darker grey if you could tell, and a 4x4 badge here too. I will say this is always disappointing to see at the back here. We do still have drum brakes, which if you are going to tow is never quite as good. It just doesn't dissipate heat as well as rear disc brakes, and is really more often a cost-saving thing than not. Much older technology, but otherwise it's a nice side. Let's check out the bum. Okay, so what about the bum on the Isuzu D-Max? What has changed? Well, these tail lights have changed. Still got bloody halogen bulbs for the turning signals. Hate that. But they are LED otherwise, though that's only for this top spec X-Terrain. You have an X badge there. That's how you know you got the X-Terrain. 3-litre turbo diesel badge there. Isuzu D-Max badge. You've got a reverse camera here that's actually been updated and looks pretty good. And then you have your plastic side step. I also like this little piece here. It's like a little flare to the side. Don't know why I like it. I just do. Now check this out. Let's open up its bum. Ooh, gas struts there on both sides. Always good to see. This is fitted with a tonneau cover. It's really easy to get rid of. You just yank it to the side and yeet it out of the way. And that reveals a pretty decently sized. Well, it wouldn't be CarSauce if my camera didn't just itself. That's 3.5 grand I probably won't get back. And before we return to this, get everything back in place how it was before, you might be thinking, Matt, if Daddy Jacob was here, that wouldn't happen. You'd be right. But Daddy Jacob has decided to celebrate joining CarSauce full-time by first going away for a month. He's living it up in Greece. And you know what, guys? Yeah, I am sorry for bringing you into our domestics, okay? You think I want to be this way? You think I want to be alone filming an Isuzu D-Max? We have hungry kids, you, who we have to feed with content. You gotta feed you with content. And as a result, I have to go out here by myself. Anyway, back to this. The X-Terrain here specifically is 1,495 millimeters long, 1,530 millimeters wide with 1,122 millimeters between the wheel arches. It's also 490 millimeters deep, and it has just under a maximum payload of 1 ton, 970 kilograms, which is actually pretty good. Of course, this roll top tonneau cover does eat into cargo space, which is a shame. However, I like it because it means if you yeet that along, you can lock it up and you have a lockable tub. It's also water resistant as well, so that's good. Let's check out the interior. Alrighty. Guys, let's talk about the interior now of the Isuzu D-Max. What has changed? Well, actually a significant amount, really. In fact, a lot of the changes are on the interior. So, first of all, this 9-inch display here, it actually remains the same, technically, in some ways, but a lot of things have been updated. For example, the processor behind this screen is now faster, actually responds really damn quickly. Even like the navigation, I've noticed that to be remarkably faster than before. It's also now got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, except you don't get a wireless charger, so I always find that silly. I mean, you plug in your phone anyway. And now instead of having these mushy, pretty terrible buttons, it's actually got dials here. You have dials for your volume and also for your tuning, and then you have some under display buttons, which there's really nothing to write home about. You've also got this new menu here where you can turn off different safety systems if you want to. You can access things like your off-roading angles, how your 4x4 system is going, so that's all very, very good. What else is new? Well, in the center of the steering wheel, you have a new Isuzu cap. Of course, no one really cares about that. What they do care about is this digital instrument cluster up in front of you. It's like a 7-inch display or something. It actually shows like enough information. It is a TFT display and it's definitely pretty low resolution, but it shows enough information and just looks a little better than before. You still have some physical gauges though, like your tachometer, so if you like that, well, you're gonna continue to like it. There's some new design elements in here as well, so I really like this new gray material here with this, like, they call it origami-like, and I guess it kind of is. It's supposed to be Japanese inspired. It's also on the doors, which is nice, because otherwise it's just scratchy, terrible plastic, but now it actually has some styling to it. And don't worry, there's still more technology in here. You've got 2 USB-C fast chargers, so that's good. It's upgraded from the USB-A port. You still get your 12-volt socky wocky and a little phone storage area. Again, missed opportunity that's not a wireless charger, so strange to me. You will also notice a new button here. This is the rough terrain mode button. It's inherited this from the Isuzu MU-X. Essentially, it's a better traction control system, which has been optimized for off-road use. And yes, you can use it with your locking rear differential. So essentially, when you are off-road, it will stop a wheel just free spinning and help pull you out of those sticky, literally, situations. And let me know in the comment section down below if you want to see us do an off-road review of one of these things. Isuzu have mentioned to us that they do quite a lot of off-roading trips, so maybe we'll do a video on that. And you also find your heated seat buttons here. These aren't new, but it's good to see. No cooled seats, but at this price point, especially in Utes, you just don't see that anyway. Unless, of course, you go Chinese, but there's a lot of fear around that for some reason. So what about what remains? Well, you get the same digi-analog aircon controls here, and they are really good. They're just so functional, and by the way, this aircon is wicked. Really blows out a lot of cold air, one of the best. Materials are, for the most part, pretty hard wearing, so scratchy here, but nice soft touch on the dash. I do love this stitching here. Still the same weird build quality thing, like here on the doors, you can really see where the plastics join. And of course, it's scratchy, but this little area here is nice and soft. I do like this leather steering wheel as well. Feels very nice to hold in the hands. Storage and practicality is one of the best in the D-Max. You just have this split glove box here with a little open area up on the dash. You've also got your hidden cup holder on the passenger side. You can hide it away and just use it for storage. Same deal for the driver, and I'm using it to hold a Coke can and keep it nice and cool with the aircon blowing on it. Lovely to see that. These leather seats are actually very, very nice. They're really supportive, very comfortable. They don't move in like a bajillion different ways, but they do move enough, and you do have adjustable lumbar support here on the driver, but the passenger, it's all manual. I would have kind of hoped that that was at least automatic in some ways, but it's not. You've got a couple of cup holders here, though. They are really, really deep, so they will de-lid even a large Macca's coffee. So at least you get the ones in the dash, I guess. This is all nice and soft too. You center RMS, pull it up, and you actually have a decent amount of storage in there. So, and not to mention the door bins, which are massive. It's currently hiding a 1.25 litre bottle of Coke. So look, overall, it's actually actually quite a nice place to be, especially this X-Train, which makes me scratch my head. And it's like, why is this so much cheaper than the model below? Why does this have drive-away pricing? Like, you'd be nuts not to get this one, I think. Also, shout out to the live surround sound system. It's actually very, very good. Okay, let's check out the back seats. Okay, so what about back seats? Well, first of all, let me show you this. So if we pull this lever here, you can pull this down. You've got a little bit of storage behind there. More importantly though, you can lift up both sides and you have a bit of underfloor storage there too, which is better than actually quite a lot of other Utes. Getting in is nice and easy because you've got a big grab handle here. Now, I'm 5'11". Let me close this. Sounds good. I've got heaps of leg room, heaps of headroom, and toe room as well is really, really good. This cannot be said of Utes like the Ford Ranger, which for whatever reason have a pretty bad backseat situation, but here you do have plenty of space. You have a couple of air vents as well, another USB-C fast charger, and a random little storage area there. You've also got map pockets here too. Material pretty much the same as up front. Can't say it takes a hit, can you? These seats are, ooh, very, very nice leather. I do like the feel of them. Pull this center armrest down, nice and soft with a couple of cup holders there too. You've also got this 4-kilo carry hook here, which is great for shopping. So yeah, overall, this interior space is a really nice place to be. You know what else is a nice place to be? CarSauce.com/buy. It's that time of the video, ladies and gents. You see, we have partnered with Motorscout, Australia's #1 car buying service, to bring you the absolute best new car deals. We have thousands of dealers who we literally make fight one another to get you the best price. Best of all, we charge you absolutely nothing. It is a free service for you, and you should definitely join our many happy customers who have bought cars through us. Daddy Jacob and I are on your side. So if that sounds good to you, and it definitely should, check out carsauce.com/buy. But for now, let's launch it. Alrighty, mummies and daddies, it is time to launch the Isuzu D-Max. To do so, we are going to brake boost it a little bit. It's a wet day, and this thing does not have permanent full drive, which we will come back to. Specialist timing gear here. Let's do this a little bit. All right, here we go. Oh, we lost the back end a little bit, but we got there. Come on, baby. Come on. That's better than I expected, honestly. 0 to 100 in 10.09 seconds. I'll take that. I really didn't think it would be that good. All right, let's drive this thing normally. Alrighty guys, driving the facelifted Isuzu D-Max. Put our foot down. Come on, baby. Reliable source. So powering the Isuzu D-Max is the same drivetrain as before. That's a good thing. It's a Ford JJ3 3-litre, massive displacement by the way, 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine. Doesn't have the greatest outputs, 140 kilowatt of power, 450 Newton meters of torque. You put your foot down. Get quite a decent amount of torque actually. And the 6-speed Aisin automatic gearbox, it is a very good transmission. No, it's not the smoothest thing in the world, but it is very reliable, name of the game here. And it kind of just works in the background. You don't really notice it, which is kind of what you want. Manuals are sadly gone for everything but the entry model. That's because the vast majority of people just buy the 6-speed manual. And really, why wouldn't you? It's just a lot easier to drive. The underpinnings of the Isuzu D-Max do remain the same though, and it means that you do get some pretty car-like steering actually. The wheel feels pretty light but precise, and when you do take a corner probably faster than you should, well frankly it handles quite well. There's definitely quite a lot of fidgeting though in the rear. The underpinnings of this car have not been changed for everything other than I think the LSM, which is a mid-spec, more of a lifestyle ute where they've made the rear softer, but otherwise you still get the same leaf spring suspension at the rear. That's definitely on the firmer end versus other utes though. It's not as bad as the HiLux, and it's also not as bad as the new Triton, which definitely jumps around quite a lot. And as we're taking these, what is that squeaking? And as we take these corners, I don't have the most amount of confidence, I'm not gonna lie. And that is because it is a part-time 4-wheel drive system. It's rear-wheel drive, and you only ever switch it into 4-wheel drive when you're off-road. It's unfortunately not like the new Triton in that sense, or the Ford Ranger, of course, or Volkswagen Amarok, a lot of new utes. And that would have been a really good thing that they could have added, but they have not. I guess we do have to remember that Isuzu is just not the biggest manufacturer out there, and they don't have tons and tons of money to put into R&D and making all-wheel drive. Perhaps the next D-Max. But on a cold winter's day like today, it is something I have noticed. You put your foot down around a corner, yeah, you will lose the back end pretty quickly. There's only so much traction control will do for physics. The other thing is, well, drum brakes at the rear. Kind of wish they changed that to disc brakes. Drum brakes, they're just not as good for towing. They don't dissipate heat as well as disc brakes, frankly. And they're simply cheaper and less complex, but yeah, not quite as good. But here we are at Saucy Corner. Let's go up. Bit of wheel spin there. Come on, baby. I believe in you. Yeah, it's not the fastest thing in the world, is it? Okay. Oh, I think that's my bloody specialist timing gear screaming. That's strange. Didn't know it made that sound. All right, hairpin number 2. Come on. Power is cut. Power is completely cut. But I guess we got up there safely. Yeah, see, look, if we were in an all-wheel drive Ute, it would have been fine. Back to the engine though, because there are a lot of things I like about it. Maybe we'll do a bit of a feedback sandwich here. I love the fact that it's got a great fuel economy. Seriously, on the highway, you're sitting at under 7 liters per 100 kilometers, which for a Ute is fantastic. It's phenomenal. And so that makes it one of the most frugal, most efficient Utes out there. What don't I like about it? Well, it just feels a bit laggy. You put your foot down and then it kicks in, you feel that torque. After, I think it's like 2,600 RPM or so, it's kind of dead. Before 1,600 RPM, it's kind of dead. And then you get quite a lot of boost in that relatively narrow band. And then the lack of power, it really is not a fast Ute. However, it feels almost effortless is how I would describe it. It always feels the same. So, you know, it always feels just boosty, I suppose, but certainly not the most, well, engaging. It's probably not even the right word. So I guess what I'm trying to say is it is consistently inconsistent in how it delivers power. But the other end of that beautiful feedback sandwich is that it is reliable. It's the 4JJ3. It is a renowned engine. It's essentially a truck engine. And these things are known to go for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of kilometers. It might be a little agricultural, noisy, but they're certainly reliable. And you cannot take that away from the Isuzu D-Max, even though it did have isues with its DPF or diesel particulate filter. Those seem to have been ironed out, and that's not an engine issue, that's an emissions issue. So I guess how to summarize the way that this Isuzu D-Max drives, especially here in the X terrain with its drive-away pricing, it's about right. In fact, they've kind of got it spot on. It's definitely not the best driving Ute out there, 100% not. That still is the Ford Ranger, whether you go for its bi-turbo or, of course, the V6. However, this is significantly cheaper spec for spec than a Ford Ranger or Volkswagen Amarok, 2 of the best driving Utes out there. And it kind of does everything better than everyone else, at least underneath. And with that, let's get into our final thoughts. Alrighty guys, final thoughts on the new Isuzu D-Max, the facelifted Isuzu D-Max. Should you buy one? Well, honestly, if you are going for the X-Terrain, I think it's a really good deal, especially with the drive-away pricing. I truly do not understand their pricing strategy. I don't know why this is quite significantly cheaper than the model below. But anyway, if you are looking for something that drives pretty well, looks great, I think, has a really nice interior, good practicality, but most importantly, has a really tried and true powertrain, something that genuinely is very reliable, then the Isuzu D-Max should definitely be on your consideration list, especially this X-Terrain. Like I said, the lower grades, don't understand the pricing there. Let me know what you guys think though, down in the comment section. Did they do enough for the Isuzu D-Max to make it competitive, especially with the influx of all these new Utes? Do you reckon the new Kia Tasman, what we know so far, will knock this thing off 3rd place? Of course, if you want to buy one of these or any other Ute and you want the absolute best price, check out carsauce.com/buy and we will get you the best price with cars that are actually in stock. Ciao for now.